training in my life was always to become a surgeon, and I have been doing this all throughout my life, from MBBS days to my MS days. Then I went abroad to do my MCH, do a super specialization. I never thought I will come to public life so early. But what happened is that around 2009, all of a sudden, my father, who was in public life, a criminal lawyer turned politician. He was an MLA twice in Assam Legislative Assembly. His demise all of a sudden obviously left a void in our life. But more important than that, it left a lot of unanswered questions, and for which I had to take a calling. I spoke to a lot of my family members and my friends. It is important to mention here that few of my friends who have been rock solid behind me since my childhood days, we have grown up together. They were one of the motivating forces. My father's colleagues, my father's political accomplices who worked with my dad for a long period of time. I consulted them also. And everybody said, at least out of the three brothers that we are, that one of us should come into public life, because my father was associated with a lot of organization, hospitals, schools, colleges. He built it up on his own, 30-40 years of history. And all of a sudden, those institutes are lying almost guardianless. So that was what the calling I needed to take. And in 2010, November, December, I actually made a decision to return back to Silchar, living my so-called cushy life, as you were saying. But I actually continued with my professional practice of being a surgeon. The only thing that I consciously did was I started practice in Silchar, and I also started looking after all the institutes my dad was associated with. Slowly and slowly, it was people's love, their suggestion that made me take the plunge into politics. I was given the ticket to contest Assam Assembly elections in 2011. I lost that election, but despite losing that election, I actually never left public life. I continued with the work that party gave me. I was made the spokesman of the party, state spokesman of the party, then general secretary of the party in 2014. In between, I had almost 2 stints as general secretary of the party. We formed the government in 2016 in Assam, 2021 in Assam. So slowly and slowly things went on, and in 2019 party decided to give the responsibility of contesting Silchar Lok Sabha. I contested, and by the grace of God and with the blessings of Modi ji's political vision, we won the election. And so here I am as a first time MP, completing almost 3 years of my MP's life in the 17th Lok Sabha. That's what brought me here actually. Look, the day I entered Indian Parliament, Lok Sabha specifically, I was in awe of the Parliament. I never had any idea. I probably had visited the Parliament before becoming an MP only twice to meet Arun Jaitley ji. So to me, going to that hallowed hall where all the who's who of Indian freedom struggle, to all the prime ministers that India had, and all the politicians, the statesmen that are names of those which are associated with Indian Parliament, made me think that whatever I do there, I should be answerable, accountable. My deeds should be transparent. So I had taken that baggage, if you call it, into the Parliament. But I never had any idea that the 17th Lok Sabha will abrogate Article 370. Since my childhood days, we've heard about Kashmir, the history of Kashmir, the atrocities of Kashmir. Since 89, we have seen what has happened in Kashmir, how Kashmir, which was such a beautiful and a productive state, turned into almost ruins and all. So it was always on the card. It was, of course, an emotional support that we had given. But I never thought that in 17th Lok Sabha will abrogate. One fine morning, when we went to the parliament, we realized that something related to Jammu and Kashmir is happening, because all of a sudden there was a lot of force mobilization which was started. We are very happy. It was a historic day in the parliament. The bill was passed in the Rajya Sabha first, then in the Lok Sabha. We voted for the abrogation of Article 370 and 35A. And in fact, yes, I should consider myself lucky. With all humility, I must say that it is history which was created in front of our eyes, and I am very happy to be a part of it. As far as Citizenship Amendment Act is concerned, of course, yes, my grandfather, my father, my entire family suffered because of partition. I am a victim. I am a son of a partitioned family, a persecuted family. We left our properties, land, everything in the nearby town of Sylhet, and we crossed over, which is not just very far from here, hardly 60 to 70 kilometers from here, from Silchar and all. We came here. We have seen our entire family struggle for last 5 to 6 decades and all. My father was very lucky because he went on to become a MLA. My grandfather never, after coming to India post 47, he never went into politics. But prior to that in Sylhet, he was also in politics. He was a congressman. He was a follower of Gandhian and Subhash Bosu's policy at one point of time. Slowly and slowly, he also got frustrated because of partition. So what ultimately happened is that my dad started taking up the responsibility for the persecuted families. He did a lot of groundwork for the persecuted families. It got slowly and slowly impregnated into my mind that we should do something for the persecuted families. And I am very happy that the Citizenship Amendment Bill has come at a time when it was needed most. We had done a lot of so-called injustice to those persecuted families, because that was our national commitment from the days of Jawaharlal Nehru, Sardar Patel, Shama Prasad Mukherjee. Everybody has said that we need to do something as far as laws are concerned, because if the laws are inadequate, we needed to change the laws. And I am happy that the 17th Parliament has taken up the responsibility of amending the law, bringing the Citizenship Amendment Bill into the Parliament. It was passed. It has got the approval of the Honorable President of our country. It has become a act now, and I am very happy for it. As far as Ram Mandir is concerned, everybody is aware. The whole nation, the whole world is aware of it. That it was a structure which was having Hindu deities being worshipped in that structure. Subsequently, 400-500 years back, the Mughal kings came and they destroyed the structure and put up a structure which was believed to be a masjid. Despite ASI, Archaeological Survey of India, giving reports in the 70s and all, these reports were actually put under the carpet. And because of political gains, the government of those days actually let that bad blood between the Hindus and the Muslim persist. Despite government trying, these issues were not solved and all. The case was lying pending for so many years and all. And I am happy that under Narendra Modi ji's regime, a consensus was reached that at least we will follow what the courts say, Honorable Supreme Court say. And I am thankful also that the verdict was 5-0. Even there was a minority judge who gave the verdict in favor of Ram Mandir. And the country has acted with such maturity that despite that verdict, there was not a single incident of communal riot, communal tension, or bullets being fired, despite that disputed site being given to a Hindu trust for the building of a Ram Mandir. And I am happy that Parliament has also shown maturity in dealing with the situation, in dealing with the verdict. In a way, you are very right. The 17th Lok Sabha will go down in the history as probably a session, a Parliament which has solved most of the contentious issues of independent India. Absolutely. When I was a kid, I used to hear stories from my grandmother of persecution, how they crossed the border, how my grandfather used to, participate in the freedom struggle, how he was jailed for 4 years in Jorhat jail and otherwise, how he was confined to the house and all. He was also a political leader. He was the municipal commissioner for 22 years, the vice chairman of Sylhet municipality for almost 18 years. So, politics, so-called politics, or the ethos of politics runs in our family. My father took up the baton from my grandfather. He was in public life and all. And in the dinner table, all these were the usual topic of discussion. So I took it on myself after the death of my father, the unfinished work that my father left and all. I thought we will have to do something for this persecuted family. So me and my younger brother, who happens to be a lawyer in Supreme Court, we got together, we studied the issue, and then it took us almost a year, from 2011 to 2012. And it was in 2012, in the month of May, that I filed a PIL in Supreme Court, asking the Honorable Supreme Court to grant citizenship to the persecuted people coming from Bangladesh. So on this PIL, which was almost 438 pages PIL, what Supreme Court actually did is that it gave notice to the 18 chief secretaries of India, and subsequently few of the chief secretaries answered to the queries, but many of them did not. A lot of hearings went on between 2012 to 2015, and we are all aware of the fact that Bharatiya Janata Party has a definite viewpoint on the persecuted population. After Narendra Modi ji's coming to power in 2014, things started changing, things started moving on the ground. And of course, yes, in the 16th Lok Sabha, when this bill was tabled and all, it was passed in the Lok Sabha but not in Rajya Sabha, so the bill lapsed in the 16th. Again in the 17th Lok Sabha, the bill was taken up. It was passed in the 17th Lok Sabha in both the houses in the month of November 2019, and history was created. For me, it was a personal milestone. It is not just my personal vindication. I stood there in Parliament speaking for those voices, millions and millions of persecuted people who were victims of partition. And partition happened not just in the eastern border. It was not just in creation of an East Pakistan. Punjab was divided, West Pakistan went out that way, that side. Afghanistan was also partitioned, but it was long time back. There has been persecuted population in all these three countries. So the government took a decision. So whoever are the minorities in Afghanistan, Pakistan and present day Bangladesh, if they ask for citizenship, if they come back to India to save their folks, if they save their life or otherwise also, the Indian government, the present Indian government is duty bound, is law bound to give them protection. So of course, yes, it has been a personal vindication, but more important than personal vindication is years and years of good that was supposed to be done during partition of 1947, that could not be done, that was our national commitment, has been done. Better late than never. And of course, I am personally very happy because I took part in the debate. I put in my 2 cents of effort for the bill to be passed, and I am very happy because I will carry this story to my deathbed. I will tell my children and my grandchildren that I was a part of the Parliament which passed the Citizenship Amendment Bill of 2020. Look, there has always been a lurking sportsman inside me since my childhood days. Always, I was involved in outdoor sports from my school days. I used to play cricket, I used to play football, and I used to play all forms of outdoor sports. In my school also, I happened to be the school captain, sports captain for almost 2 years there. I used to lead all the sports team, and also a sportsman was always there, but because I am more prominently in public life, that sportsman inside me became dormant. But few months back, when our Prime Minister told us, he gave us an option that you go to your constituency, connect with the sportsmen, try to conduct any sports tournament, be it in any field, be it cricket, football, athletics, volleyball, anything. So when I put my mind into the suggestion that our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji gave us, I thought I will take up football. because there has been a lot of rural footballers here in my constituency who do not get a chance to play, or we have a history of very good footballers from Barak Valley, from Silchar Lok Sabha constituency, who have played not just for the state, they have played for the country at school level, at senior level, and there are many during 70s and 80s they have played in the Asian All-Star school team. So there has been a rich culturing or a culture or a breeding ground for footballers in Silchar. They just needed a platform to perform, show their skill. So that motivated me to conduct this, and I am happy to tell you today that in my constituency there are 7 assembly constituencies. We took 42 teams. We conducted 42 matches, including the final, and the prize money was associated with it. There were other motivations which were given, and we are very happy that the level of football that was seen in this tournament, just concluded 2 days back, was exceptional. And I am happy to tell that there were a few players who have been selected by the national ISL team, like the Northeast United Football Club. They have signed a few boys and they have taken them to their clubs, and I hope that in the coming year also I will be able to conduct this tournament and see to it that I can provide a good breeding grounds for the upcoming footballers of this place. Look, when I was a kid, I was always told that politics is the last resort of a scoundrel. What we were not told is that politics is the first resort of a gentleman. So when initially we were in school, we thought politicians were scoundrels, But when I came into politics, I realized that misnomer needs to change, and the change has to start from young minds and all. You have to change those young minds and all, because when I was in school, when I was told that line and all, I always thought that, well, the politicians were moneyed man, gun wielding man with lot of muscle and money and power and all. But later when I realized that it is actually not so, we must understand that there are black sheeps in all professions. In politics, maybe there are a few more than in other professions. But whatever it is our society, our culture, we need to change it. I could not do what I intended doing because of the pandemic. My idea was to connect with the student, to go to schools and colleges and connect to students who are at least class 9, class 10, 11 and 12, or maybe in degrees, and have a lecture session with them, telling them how we go about building a nation, how we encourage students to come to public life, be it politician or become bureaucrats, or participate in nation building. Today nation building is the most important thing for us. It is a challenge for us, and we must also think that any profession contributes to nation building. It is not that only politicians are the lawmakers and they contribute to nation building. It is actually not so. We must tell them, we must teach them that any profession where you are creating wealth, any profession where you are giving jobs to unemployed, any profession where you are taking care of the poor class is contributing to nation building. So my idea is to infuse this whatever ideas I have to the students communities. I have already started, and I have given a few lectures to Guru Charan College and Ramanuj Institute, Higher Secondary Institute, and I presume that I can do it for the coming days, and I have fixed a target of 50 lectures for the coming 2 years. It's a unique effort, and the foundation which has been formed in the name of my father, Bimalangshu Roy Foundation, is contributing, is helping me to arrange for this lecture, and I am thankful to them also for this help that they are putting in. One thing is that what I would like to say is my effort in public life has always been transparent. I don't hide things. To the best of my ability, to the best of my knowledge, I try to do things, and there has been no issue of hiding things or corruption. So we need a society which has to be transparent, very clear. We need to be motivated in nation building. We need to be motivated with our ideals of nationalism. And there is one important thing that needs to be told to our kids, is that our country was not created in 1947. People say that India was born in 1947, and I strongly oppose that idea, because India is a nation which has existed from time immemorial. The south of Himalayas, the north of Indian Ocean, from Iran to Thailand was one time part of the so-called Sanatan Dharma. Then subsequently all the countries bifurcated out. So presently whatever land we have, geographically what we call today as India, the people of those areas needs to be proud of our heritage, needs to be proud of our culture, which has been existing for a time immemorial. And we are not a nation of snake charmers and black magicians. So this need to be told to the West also. So that's why I urge upon my new generation friends, my young friends, that please be proud of yourself. Please study your heritage. Please study your history well. You derive your own conclusion. Don't pass on that message that our country or nation has been created only in 1947. That is not true.